This is lesson 3.6, evaluating formulas in pre-algebra. Notice my screen is black. I got really tired of the green, so I'm going to kind of try a black screen, see if that helps. Alright, so what we're going to do with these story problems is we're going to use some formulas. I mean, you already know the formula for an area of a rectangle is length times width. You already know the perimeter of a rectangle is adding up all the sides, or taking, well, let's draw a rectangle here. This is my length and this is my width, and my widths are the same and my lengths are the same, so I can take 2 times whatever my length is. So if this length were 3, I could take 2 times 3 and get 6 instead of 3 plus this one and get 6. So I'm also going to write it as 2w, twice the width. So that's a formula for perimeter. Let's see, another one we're going to use, distance equals rate times time. So let's say you're driving from Soldotna to Anchorage, which is about 150 miles. So that's my distance. And if I'm driving 60 mile an hour and it takes me, well, let's say we don't even know our distance. Let's just say we're driving the Alcan and we're going 60 mile an hour and we're going for 8 hours. How long did we drive, or how far did we drive that day? 60 times 8, which is 480 miles. So it kind of gives you an idea of where you're going to stop for the night. Well, if we drive at 70 mile an hour for 10 hours, we're going to go 700 miles, so we're going to make it to, wherever, Whitehorse. And so we can use that to figure that out. If we're changing things like Fahrenheit and Celsius, so let's say that we know that it's 30 degrees Celsius and we want to know what the temperature is Fahrenheit, we can use this formula to do that. So then we can plug in our whatever degrees Celsius we are, 20 degrees Celsius, multiply it by 9/5, add it to 32, and that'll translate it into Fahrenheit. So that's what we're going to be doing in this section. So let's go ahead and get started with the first one. The perimeter of a rectangular livestock pen is 40 feet. So P equals 40, which is not very big. And they tell us that the width is 6. So those are 6. They want to find out what the length of that pen is. So remember the formula we use, and it'd be good to put these in your notes just so that you have the formulas here for quizzes and tests. So we're going to use that formula. So P equals 2 times the length, and we're going to use L instead of X here. So 2 times L plus 2 times the width, which we know is 6. And so, see, we only have one variable that we're looking for, and that's what we're looking for our answer. We know our P is 40, and we have 2L because we don't know what the length is, and this is 12. Subtract 12, subtract 12. Those go away. 40 minus 12 is 28, equals 2L. Divide by 2, divide by 2. Those cancel. L is 28 over 2, or 14. So the length is 14, and the width we were given in the problem is 6. And if you multiply those two together, we get, or if we add all the lengths together and add all the widths, we get 40. So example 2, we're changing Fahrenheit to Celsius. They're telling me that the Fahrenheit is 95, and they give me a formula. Celsius equals 5/9 times Fahrenheit minus 32. So they're telling me that F is 95 degrees. So I'm going to write this with my 95 in there. Like that. So 95 minus 32 is 63. And I'll leave my 5/9 there. Okay. And at this point, I'm going to put this over 1. In fact, let's just take that 63 and raise it a little bit, just so it is kind of on the same level that my 5/9 is. So I can multiply this out and get 315 over 9, and then divide 315 divided by 9 and get 35 degrees. So when it's 95 degrees Fahrenheit outside, which is what we use, it is changed over to 35 degrees Celsius. So example number 3, they give me a formula, and this formula, notice, has two variables, an x and a y. And it says use that formula to find y. We're trying to find out what y is, and they're telling me that x equals -2. So what I'm going to do is whenever I see an x, I'm going to put a -2 in its place. Okay. So y equals 2 times -2 is -4 plus 6. So y equals, signs are different, take the difference between the two, put the sign of the largest on there, and I get 2. Okay, so that's example number 3 there. And we'll start a new video for the rest of the examples.